increase from last year. So it's sitting really nice, really like where we are, good and financially stable. I was like really happy with where we've been and the production we've gotten so far in the year. Going on to the next page there, Clay, looking for consolidated financials. So again, after we did the budget amendment, get that a little bit more in line for us. Looking through that, this is through the end of March. So I go, there's percentage use percentage. You're looking at, hey, anything 75% and under is really good. Anything 75% and over, you're kind of going, okay, we're a little high on revenues. We're not too concerned. Expenses, we look a little more. Revenues pretty well in line there for us. Expenditures, pacing below on salary, a little high on professional services. Professional services, we had increased accounting fees throughout the year. That's really what's paced ahead of that. So I can just kind of point that out. Our travel expenditures right there at about 76%, right where they need to be. Facilities is a little under. Once again, some of the facility repairs that I know we spoke about in the budget amendment, the HVAC units, those are with a threshold for a capital improvement of $55,000. So those go to the budget, those go to the balance sheet. So you won't see these on the revenue, but we did in fact spend that money. So I always get to look really good that we're below facilities. But just pointing out that yes, we have spent that money. It just doesn't show up here. And that's the only one of those that we really have. Operating well in line, equipment well in line, equipment potentially same as facilities. Sometimes those will be over the limit and go to the balance sheet and be capitalized. So we do that in real time. Pass-throughs right about where they need to be, sitting real nice with our revenue year to date and our annual budget well in line. That is what I've got for March. What questions do you have for me? How can I help?
Questions for Chris?
What kind of interest rates are we getting?
So we don't get the, we get a little bit below market. And the reason that we get below market is because the collateralization that is required for our accounts is higher. So the money that we have sitting in those accounts, the bank can't put out to go make friends and come back. So I believe we're getting 2.95 as opposed to 3.95. But they've got to keep a lot of our money kind of sitting at home. So if we could change our collateralization policy, we could pick up almost another full percentage point. But
We're not going to go to the market.
Yeah. So but good question.
Pat, any other questions for Chris? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the March financial report. Second. Last chance questions. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. And now Chris is going to talk to us about the bill we got from the state auditor.
Yep, state audit. So once again, when I was talking about those professional fees being a little high, that expenditure's in there, so it's not going to jump up any higher. But hey, they billed us for 734.75 hours at $65 an hour, which I'll be very candid, for accounting services, that is a deal. I used to charge out for that when I was a first-year tax accountant at Florence Denning. But they supposedly spent the almost similar amount of hours that Bramwell and Ackley spent with us. So I find that interesting, but bill is good. It's within the parameters of what they kind of thought it would be, between $45,000 and $55,000. This is a bit more of an expensive audit. Our Barnes Denning audit is usually between, we've already signed that for FY25. That bill ranges between $30,000 and $40,000. This is a little bit more than we knew that we budgeted for it. That didn't surprise us. So kind of came in on the lighter side of what we expected in talking with other ads, what they ended up paying. So that being said, I come to you to share this with you and ask your approval to pay this.
Because the dollar amount needs board approval, so that's why.
I'll second it.
Second. Questions?
Do we have a readout from the auditor? Did they tell us up or down, or did we?
Yeah, they presented back in December. They're just now billing us for the work that they did.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Nothing like getting that bill's dated the end of April there. We got it like May 2nd. And they presented and finished all work in November and presented to us at the December board meeting. And then didn't bill us for over 120 days.
Don't amend it.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any other question or discussions on paying the state auditor? I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
They already informed us that we won't be visiting with them again this year, so.
Plays here with a, so that little facilities update.
Little lobby renovation, yeah, it's in your packet. I'm not over there, so I can't scroll down up here, but these pages should be in your packet. So yeah, we had a little bit of, some unused funds, in the tech budget that we're gonna use to, help renovate the lobby and get the renovations going for the building. We reached out, to a few companies to get a new lobby sign. Obviously, the lobby sign that's in there currently is the old logo. We want to get a new one, with this fancy logo on it right here. So we reached out to a couple of places for that. Went with Grainwell for that. We reached out to a few painters, Hicks and Klein. Like I said, in the write-up here, came back very professional, and very persistent in wanting to get our business. You'll see the 5-star on your sheet says that they never did come back with a quote. They did finally come back after like 3 weeks with a quote. That quote was, roughly $1,600. So, still going to stick with the Hicks and Kleins there. For painting, and then for the carpeting, it's actually not gonna be carpet, it's probably gonna be LVP flooring. We've still gonna work out a few of the details there for the lobby. We went with Grain Design Flooring, for a cost of $3,700 on that. I think the whole project, roughly $6,500. And like I said, we should hopefully have this taken care of by the end of the fiscal year. I don't know if we can get it in before the next board meeting in June, we'll try, but, that'd be nice. Yeah, that's what we got going on. Questions on it?
Questions for Clay on a slight refresh for our public. For the second. Questions? I'll call it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Clay, for your work. And now we have a special presentation.
Oh, man.
Ryan Morris, who's going to talk to us about what the Transportation Committee has been up to. So if you're not familiar, the NKADD serves as the planning organization for the 5 southern counties that are part of the NKADD. OKI serves in that function for Boone, Campbell, and Kenton, but the NKADD does transportation planning, so shift, different things with KYTC. And we're gonna have an update on.
Thank you. Just did it all, man. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. So, the southern 5 counties meet. We now have a committee. We're now organized. I got the short straw, so here I am. Bear with me. But shift, we go through shift every 2 years. Basically prioritize what project we need, what counties are looking at. Jeff and Chris came down along with KYTC, went to every county, met up with the local officials and went through our projects of kind of what we see as a need for transportation, and to get these projects, basically have to get these in the 6-year plan, right? So if they're not in the 6-year highway plan, as you know, they're not happening. And sometimes when they're in the 6-year highway plan, they're not happening. So that's kind of the way it goes. But so each county has 4 projects, and then the group as a whole, we have like one kind of bonus project that we throw in. So that's 21 projects that the NKADD works on with us, and then that's 21, and then 15 projects with KYTC. So KYTC will sponsor their projects, and then we do ours. And we do this in conjunction with KYTC, right? Everything works with them. And you can see the yellow projects on the screen are the top 4 projects of each county, and then the one bonus project, and then the blue are with District 6. And then the green is the county projects. You can see that as well. So these are, we're getting these in. We'll come back. We met back on April the 29th, get these in the project. We'll come back in, I believe, August. And that's where we'll get the boost points, so we can kind of prioritize these projects. And then we'll give them some boost to try to get them over the edge, get them in the plan, and get them on the radar. So it's a total of 36 projects that we're working through. So we do have a great relationship with KYTC on this point. We don't always have a great relationship with KYTC. Sorry if you're a KYTC hitter, because everybody has projects, right? Everybody has needs, and there's just not enough money to go around. So, but we do have a great working relationship with them when it comes to this committee. and getting that done. So we will, kind of what's next is these projects will all be scored. We'll do the boosting. This will take place in August. Then around October, KYTC will deliver these final scores, and everything has to be scored to the legislature. And then between October and December, they'll develop the statewide plan. Then hopefully it'll be sent to the governor sometime in December. These projects put in on the 6-year plan. If you're in the rural counties and you have concerns, we're working on them. Certainly reach out to your local officials and all that. So, Chris, anything to add?
Yes. Sorry, it's okay, Chair. There is 4 times as many projects as there is funding. So if you know any General Assembly folks, always advocate for road funding.
And to add to that, each county, Chuck, Dave, you guys can add to this, that, we probably have 20 projects that we want looked at, and you can only submit 4 or 5. So it's even a tough job on the local officials to say, well, these are the most important. And then as you go through it, and some of the time that is based on what project you think can get over the finish line, because it's more important to get one finished than maybe identify 20 of them that are bad. So it's not an easy job, but it is, we're working, we're trying. So that's all I have. If there's any questions, thank you very much.
Good job.
We had the right man in
You're right.
here.
So we're just gonna move on into mobility. So, when we talk about transportation, a lot of times we talk about roads and concrete and asphalt. Well, there's another side of mobility, transportation, which is mobility, and that is getting, people, from point A to point B. It's either on tank, or it could be, transportation. It could be getting people to medical appointments, to jobs, and all that, those critical things if you don't have reliable transportation or you're unable to drive. So historically, we have done mobility planning, and we've had some grants through KYTC for section 5403. For all these numbers, let me just tell you, and I can throw them all out, but they're basically funded through KYTC. This goes along, we've done that. We didn't do it for a few years, but as you all know, we applied, and actually you all presented the transit study a couple months ago, and we approved the transit plan. And those 2 documents helped us apply for section 5403, which is mobility planning, and a 5310, which is to help actually purchase a 15-passenger van for Carroll County senior citizens to be able to take those older adults different places within the county to medical appointments and all that. So with that, of course, there are some requirements of maintenance plans that we didn't have. And so we wrote that maintenance plan. It is in your packet. It basically talks about what they got to look at before, what happens if they have an accident, chain of command, all that kind of stuff. I'm here asking you all, requesting approval of that maintenance plan so we can complete the application for those 2 grants and get money, one for mobility planner, and the other one is to help Carroll County get a van or their. In a nutshell, that's it. Do you all have any questions?
Yeah, there's someone pointed out one slight change on page 5. It says wheelchair life inspection. I think that should be lift inspection. So we will submit the plan with that change from life to lift consideration. So any questions for Katie Jo about this? I know mobility's been a big thing here at the ad, and happy to see this work progressing.
What happens with the inspection reports?
They are done daily, and then we collect all those. In the end, that's part of the monitoring from KYTC. So they'll come in and like, where are your daily maintenance logs? Where's that? And we will hear maintaining all that stuff and all those records. Because I like the auditor that Chris talked about, he's going to audit us on making sure that we follow the requirements are.
Will KYTC be auditing the actual inspection forms, or do we have any plan to have those audited? Because as somebody who drove government vehicles, I understand how these sometimes get gun decked when you're doing it daily.
I can't answer that, but I mean, we will be educating those who drive in Carroll County for, the senior citizens, and making sure that they realize that it is very important. And it is something that needs to be done. And we kind of beefed up our plan and what was given us as a sample from KYTC, the little pictures of a little van. We added that so it was a little bit easier for the staff to pull differences, because I can't tell what is the front panel or the back panels.
We had something similar in the military, and I will tell you, when we do it daily, they don't always get done daily.
Is it a requirement for it to be done daily?
Or, yeah, but if they don't drive it daily, it's only when they drive it. Because some days they might not drive. Some days they might.
A good point. We can add an internal process before KYTC arrives to make sure that it's in order. Any other questions for Katie, Joe? Good discussion.
Right, I'm not sure how this would work, but if this is in Carroll County, you're keeping all the records here, how is that? Do you have a process set up for that? No, maybe like a digital process.
Probably, and there again, this is all new, so we will figure out how to work that out best for them. And, physical copies back to us. So it could be digital scanning. Actually, when she sends stuff now, she takes a picture of it, so I don't know if that's the best way. So we'll see.
Another good thing will work out before KYTC.
And it's a whole new policy for us to enact, and so it will have a learning curve.
So it's not just for Carroll County, it's for all the counties.
It's all the counties, right? So eventually, say, if Cumberland County or Gallatin County wants a new vehicle to transport eligible, next cycle, we'll figure that out. But Carroll County will be able to make sure that the daily trip inspections are all done and figured out before. Yes, but yeah, the next cycle, we can always look at doing this.
Janet.
Just so when you're talking about transportation, I'm kind of, our side is on the other side of the mobility piece of it. There's lots of software that's out there that will do that. I'm sure you guys did that as well. My husband works for Alpha Fiber. He is supposed to check his truck every morning. I'm not completely convinced he does that every morning as well. So I understand that completely. There are checks and balances do have to be made at that time. So signatures are going to have to be, you know, when you're clicking in, you're logging in under your client or your driver ID. So, you know, if they come to find out, I'm sure that that will be incorporated into some of the just employment. We are agreeing to do this. We are saying that we have reviewed this and then to find out could be grounds for information and some of those things that can be built in. But in general, there's software that's out there that helps eliminate that. And so given the situation, we really haven't done it before, it would be something that we would potentially look into, figure out how to, then of course fund it because you know, it's information. So, but there is lots of opportunities to do that. So you eliminate data being in one location and vehicles.
I think I forgot to mention, the most important part to me is we are hiring a mobility planner to focus on the, it will not be me.
There goes that relationship with KYTC.
We'll make sure shift is done first. Good discussion. Do we have a motion to adopt the plan? Motion. Judge, we have a second? Second. Any other questions? Well, we have, okay, Joe, don't leave yet.
Yeah.
Any other, last chance for questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Katie.
It's a life into.
All right. Continuing on the vehicle trend, Chris Courtney is going to talk to us about an RFP for box trucks for food pantries.
All right, so one, I'm here before you to request an RFP for a box truck. So luckily, I'm not gonna be driving the box truck. It'll be some of our team members at the warehouse and commodities program. So We have funding through a grant. This is round 2 of the grant to purchase a box truck. So the request to put an RFP. So why do we need a box truck? We are spending roughly around $30,000 a year to take stuff in our limited storage of cold and freeze boxes that we have at the warehouse to UDF. It's a basically that warehouse at UDF in Erlanger is a giant freezer that stores cold and frozen goods for us while we are logistically handling those items to get to our food pantries. So why we need a food truck is sometimes the milk comes in on Wednesday. We have to store it in our cooler and freezer. And then our pantries come to us on Monday to get it. So we think it's a better way for operationally to take that and to get it and send it to them. So we are keeping our cooler and freezer spaces available to us. So that's why we are requesting a box truck purchase. So we have to spend this money before the end of the fiscal year. So here we are in May to quickly turn around the money and spend it before the end of the fiscal year.
So yeah, this is funded with a grant.
Yes, this is the round 2 funding of the Reach and Resiliency Grant funds.
Does this truck need to be refrigerated?
It does not. According to our warehouse team, it doesn't need to be a refrigerated box truck. It can be a normal box truck. If it's refrigerated, it's the right cost, we'll probably go that way. But if it's not, it's not an exclusive item that we have to have.
Take that the RFP is
Yes.
both refrigerated and non-refrigerated.
Correct.
On page 5 under engine, I hope that you could add that it's a diesel. You have it under fuel tank, but you don't have it under the engine.
Under engine here, you want to put diesel?
I would think so, since, is that what you want, is a diesel?
It's not limited to that. We're looking, we've already kind of checked it out some places to look at what we could get, but we can add that there.
You need to take diesel then out of the fuel tank section.
Probably.
You want some flexibility.
Yeah, we want flexibility there. I think.
I know that Chris, we're, wiring it with the grant, assuming there's operating money available in the commodities program to cover the insurance and fuel and anything.
Correct.
And now we have a vehicle maintenance policy, so we're in this.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Any other questions for Chris? If not, would entertain a motion to send the RFP out to see what's out there. It'll come back to the board to actually purchase the truck, but we'll get the process started. So we have a motion to do that.
Second.
Further questions for Chris? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chris. All right, under the informational kind of staff updates, Corey is going to talk to us about some things that are going on.
Thanks, good afternoon, all. I saw that I was the last on the agenda. I thought I'd have at best 10 minutes. So promise not to take the full 30. So as Matt said, not requesting any action today. Just wanted to bring some information to the board about some of the work that we're doing within the workforce division. Before I get to this really quickly, I just want to paint a very high level picture of NKY Works. I know that's been mentioned before. Some of you are more familiar than others with NKY Works. But NKY Works is a workforce initiative that lives at the area development. We have, this is not doing it justice, but I just wanted to point out that we have 5 key strategies within NKY Works to improve the overall workforce within our region. Those strategies include early childhood education and trying hard to increase access and getting more childcare options to our families. Career readiness, working with K through 12 system to make sure our students are getting career exploration activities and prepared for that next step after high school. Work-ready adults, which is helping adults who have already completed high school, who have life barriers, such as substance addiction, justice involvement, lack of childcare, maybe they're immigrants and don't speak Spanish, helping those individuals get into gainful employment. Our fourth strategy is talent and regional attraction and promotion, which is basically, we have strong economic development in this region. We just don't have enough work-ready adults today to fill all of the good jobs that we have. So what are we doing to promote our region to bring more talent, hopefully work-eligible, working-age talent to this region? And then fifth is employer best practices. What are we doing to work with our employers to help them understand how they can be an employer of choice? How can we help them have an easier time attracting and retaining talent? So those are our 5 overall strategies that are part of NKY Works. And what I'm going to talk about today has mostly to do with our 4th strategy, that regional talent attraction and promotion. We're exploring a number of different things that we can do to promote Northern Kentucky, to let people know how great Northern Kentucky is to live, work, and play. And, we have a little bit of an identity problem. Nobody knows about us. If you're down in Southern Kentucky and you say Northern Kentucky, they might think you're talking about Louisville, or, sometimes we get too lumped in together with Cincinnati, but we do have our unique brand. So we've been working very closely with Meet NKY and Be NKY on a talent attraction campaign. And this is one example of something that we actually just wrapped up. So we are doing a college student campaign. And by that, I mean, we're intentionally reaching out to students who attended college at either UK, U of L, Eastern, Western, and telling them a little bit about Northern Kentucky in the hope that they will visit us and consider us as a place to live and work once they complete college. We intentionally targeted the 21-year-olds, so we were able to partner with WXIX Fox to do this campaign, and they were able to help us segment the different groups that we were able to reach with this campaign. We did end up spending $15,000 on the zip code campaign. So for those of you who are at least somewhat aware of talent attraction sort of promotion campaigns, that's barely anything, when you're talking about this kind of work. So we wanted to test this out as a pilot. And as you'll see here in the next couple slides, I think it's been very successful. Again, just the goal is to build awareness about Northern Kentucky and all of the great assets that we have. We did offer a free weekend. So that was the big draw. We did have some banner ads. We advertised on social media platforms, gaming sites. That was a big hit because we got, numbers on the back end of, which sites were the biggest impact for us. YouTube ads. We have a couple 15-second videos with some young professionals who live and work here, kind of talking up the region. And we actually made some longer videos that now live on a different website. I did mention a partnership with BNKY and Meet NKY, which is very important because Meet is undergoing a campaign on regional attraction and retention anyway. So we wanted to use some of the same kind of talking points that they're planning to use as part of their campaign. And then BNKY actually developed and hosted the website that we created as part of this. It's called ynky.org. So if you have an opportunity, we're not going to talk about that really today, but ynky.org is the site that folks are directed to once they're engaging with this campaign.
Is that WHY or just the letter Y?
Oh, good question, Mayor. WHY.
Okay.
Why do you want to go to Northern Kentucky? That's the there it is.
Okay.
So these are some example banners that we created in partnership with Fox WXIX. I don't know if that's different than Fox 19. And I just wanted to show you a couple of examples there, and we can, next slide, please. And we do have a couple of videos, and I guess we have time to show them. They're not very long. They're just a couple minutes. These are the two young professionals that are real Northern Kentuckians that we approached, and they wanted to help us with this campaign. So these videos are what these college students see once they click on the links. So. And it says register to win a free weekend. So our goal was that we would have 100 registrants. We got 40 at the end of the day. I always have to look at the name of this place. I cannot get it to stick in my head. It was a free weekend at the Pickle Factory Boutique Hotel. So that's a new hotel in Covington. Which is, do you not know about a commissioner? Well, I guess I shouldn't feel bad there. Pickle Factory Boutique Hotel, Electric Alley.
Yeah.
I was told it only has like 10 rooms and it's pretty expensive hotel. So we selected a winner last week. And it's a $500 package, so including the hotel. So with the remaining funds, we're giving them gift cards to Northern Kentucky restaurants, stuff like that. So they can really get a taste of Northern Kentucky, and hopefully at the end of the day, want to consider Northern Kentucky as a place to work after they complete college. Next slide, and I think the last one, this is some of our results, which according to the Fox folks, think this is highly successful. I don't have a lot of experience with these kind of campaigns, but over 1 million impressions, almost 190 completed views. So people who didn't click skip or, before the whole video played. Over 31,000 clicks. As you can see, we had a little bit more success with the gaming apps than we did for YouTube. Well, quite a bit more success. Ultimately, as I said, out of all this, we had 40 registrants for the free weekend. And I believe as a pilot, I think, and I think our advisory and our executive committee with NKY Works agrees. Laura, I know this is not the first time Laura's hearing this. She's our advisory committee member here today, but I think based on these results, I think this is worth doing a little bit higher, a better campaign with a little bit more investment, considering what we've seen here. So happy to answer any questions, but I think always it's important if you have the opportunity to promote what a great place Northern Kentucky is, because we have so many terrific jobs and just not quite enough people right now that are prepared and willing to fill those jobs. Yeah, correct.
Corey, is that almost 1.1 million impressions? Is that off the $15,000 in ad spend?
Yeah, the total campaign was $15,000.
Successful is an understatement.
Great.
We would be lucky when I was in private to get that much out of 7 times what we were spending.
Awesome. Thank you.
Corey, did they give you any insight into the success of the gaming channel versus YouTube? Was it demographic or less competition?
We have all sort of analytics on demographics. We have down to the hour where it really spiked, the breakdown of male, female, age. No idea how we got that, but they got it for us. So yes, we have all sorts of information we could leverage to do better next time.
Watch it, Pat, if you get your information. Yeah. That's it's scary how they get all that information just like that. Think about it.
And we
Good
were,
stuff.
I agree. It makes you not want to be part of these plans. But I should have said at the beginning, we called it a zip code campaign for a reason. We weren't able to reach out to like UK to get that information. So what we did was we narrowed our target area to certain age individuals within certain zip codes that surround colleges. Thinking that they're probably going to be a high percentage of those individuals were going to be in attendance in college. And we wanted to do 21-year-old, I think we did 21, 22, thinking that they're getting ready to graduate, so. But the broader that you make your parameters, the more money it costs for the, you know.
Any questions about this for Corey or other workforce questions? Tara has dutifully prepared me with notes, and two of them are if Corey doesn't mention this in his presentation. So I have two more workforce updates. These are positive.
Oh, okay.
The Kentucky Workforce Innovation Board has approved the biennium certification for the Northern Kentucky Workforce Board. So I assume that means, is that basically like accreditation for the next 2 years? So
Do it every 2 years, yeah.
and then also, the Workforce Investment Board and its WIOA Operator and Direct Service Program partner Brighton Center for the audit period of July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2024. So the program audit with the Kentucky and Education Labor Cabinet Monitoring Team had no findings, no observations, or any issues they found with our workforce programming through Brighton Center. So congratulations to you and your team and the Brighton Center and their team. So
Thank you. Thank you. I had little to do with it. It was mostly all the team that did that, so. Thank you. Only 12 minutes. I appreciate it.
you did great. So speaking of my dutifully prepared notes, my chairman's report, a couple things that may or may not be of interest. Volunteers are needed for the board's nominating committee. So as part of the bylaws, the officers now, or the executive committee will be 8 members, 1 from each county, and there'll be a nominating committee that helps work up that slate for both the 8 people and then also those positions within. So this is new. So kind of the timeline I've thought about and talked about with Tara, where feedback on is between now and the June board meeting. If you're interested in serving on that nominating committee, reach out to me, reach out to Tara. The June board meeting, you guys would officially approve the nominating committee. And then after then, they would work to come up with a slate of officers and executive committee. We would present that at the July board meeting. If everybody is good with that, there's no nominations on the floor, any changes, we just go ahead and vote on in July. If not, we could bring it back in August. Because September will be the annual meeting, which is also when the officer transition occurs. So it needs to be decided on no later than the August board meeting. So start thinking about, I don't think the nominations committee is a significant time commitment. It could probably be knocked out in one meeting, but if you're interested in that, let me or Tara know. And then speaking of the annual meeting that's coming together, so we found a date. So as last board meeting, Tuesday, September 9th, there were not any conferences, there were not any conflicts that we know of. And continuing the north-south rotation, we'll be headed south and we're going to be at the new Water's Edge Event Center in Gallatin County. If you haven't seen it, it's very beautiful. It's right on the Ohio River, located US 42 near Warsaw. And Jules Catering will be doing the food. So if you've had Jules before, they also have a catering. That's one of the providers there. Judge Morris helped us out with these arrangements. So we're looking forward to going down to Warsaw. And if you're interested in sponsoring the event, let me or Tara know. And do we have opportunities for you? So that is the annual meeting will be Tuesday, September 9th. And the only other thing on my report here, speaking of good positive audits, so the Medicaid waiver team, which is now known as Patient Directed Services, had a lot of names for the years, just had their audit. That was a 2-year period of January 1, 2020 through December 31st, 2022. And during that entire time frame, the only money that had to be recouped was $90, which of the millions of dollars that go through that, that's a pretty successful ratio. So that audit is completed and big accomplishment, and thanks to Ann and her team. Shannon's here today. Also the finance staff for getting that through. Those were the end of my notes that were prepared for me. So does anyone have any other announcements or anything else? If not,
Northern Kentucky area, our municipal government, I think of Northern Kentucky will be meeting here Wednesday,
yes.
next Wednesday at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. And we're gonna be talking about tax collection. You know, they talked about centralized collection of taxes, and we'll have some people from Northern Kentucky that'll be talking about how they handle tax collection and big discussion about what we can do to make sure it doesn't go to Frankfurt.
Always something to guard against. Good comment, Mayor. You don't have anything else? If not, would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. All in favor? We're adjourned. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Look at you.